All right. Good evening, everybody, and thanks for joining us on Our Two Cents. I am Tom Sellers with my partner, Frank Hostica. Frank, how are you?
I'm doing fabulous today, Tom. Thanks for asking. How about yourself? How are you this evening?
I am okay, other than I did something in my back. Don't know what it is. Went to go see the chiropractor. He kind of alleviated some of the pain, and we'll just fight right through it. That's what we do.
There you go. Awesome.
So you were on vacation last week. Tell us how that was.
Oh, it was vacation. We were down in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Little R&R, little fresh air, mountains, moonshine, a little bit of that.
There you go.
The rewards for hard work. So,
Right. Very
but did a little
nice.
work while we were down there too. That's the beauty of what I do, what we do.
Right.
We could work remotely, so we did squeeze a little work in while we were out on vacation. But for the most part, yeah, it was R&R,
Good.
fresh air, relaxation,
Very
hiking in
nice.
the mountains.
Well, you and I were talking before we opened this thing up, and how kind of apropos that's what our subject is tonight. Um, you were having some issues trying to set up a calendar link to let your customers book appointments with you,
Yeah.
and and went to another source and said, well, you know what? I would rather invest this than continue to fight myself on trying to make this other thing work. So, when we're talking about investing, I mean, there's a perfect example. You could have just as easily said, well, I'm not going to spend $100. So, what was your
Right.
thinking when you made that decision? I already know, but
So at some point, again, you got to balance. Okay, what's worth more? My sanity, my
right.
getting aggravated, and or spending time trying to figure something out that doesn't seem to be working,
Hmm.
isn't maybe as user friendly as it should be, or I wasn't meeting my expectation as far as user friendliness. um,
Sure.
so I went and checked and I found an alternate resource called a friend called Coach.
Right.
My coach and mentor, and your friend as well, Coach Tim Stewart, Coach Papa, and talked to him a little bit and tried to work through it. You know what? He suggested I try a different program, different platform, and I looked it up and checked it out, and yeah, like a whole year for $98,
Right.
$96, and it's like, yeah, makes sense. And I had that up and going within half an hour.
Right. So,
So again,
yes.
you balance, money or time. What do you have more of, or what do you want to spend more of?
Right.
And in this case, it made sense to spend that money to save me maybe countless hours of trying to troubleshoot and figure out the other one and get it working. So
Right. Right. And that's just, and from the standpoint of investing in the business, not every time is it money, but sometimes it is. And you have seen, as I have, because we deal primarily with business owners. Somebody says, "Well, I've got this particular problem," and you say, "Well, you can bring in, pick your industry, a website maker, an SEO uh, company." They generally start with the same problem. I can't get people to my door, or nobody knows I'm here. And you and I both know people in those industries, and we've both heard stories from those people. It's like I show them a solution, and not everything in the business world, or any other world for that matter, is free. It costs something to make it happen. But if you find an answer to it, you're not spending money. I think people get that also. I'm spending money. No, no, you're investing money. You're putting your money into something with an expectation of fixing what your problem is. In your case, you said, okay, I have two choices here. I can continue to play with this program that I don't seem to be making progress with, and I can at the same time be losing valuable time talking to customers or servicing customers, or I can just spend this little bit of money, get it all fixed. Now that's off my plate.
Yep.
Now you have that, and you have the expectation. You went in with a problem. I've got this problem. My calendar's not working. I need the calendar to work so my customers can make appointments with me and have access to my calendar so to know when I'm available. It seems like a small price to pay to be able to get that problem taken care of. Now your expectations will be met, and you didn't waste 4 hours a day, 2 days pulling your hair out over it.
Exactly. Exactly. So, yep, problem solved. Move on. Next.
Right.
What,
Right.
what's the next fire to put out, or what's the next thing to focus time on, and whatever. So, yep.
Right. And as business owners, we like to think of ourselves as acutely aware of what problems there might be in our either our process or our day-to-day activity, or those things that we have other people within our organization doing. And we should be able to step back and say, okay, I've got a problem with getting people to my door, or I've got a problem with I've got a customer in on the other side of the country who says he can't find my website. Those are problems. Those are going to slow down profit. So if you can identify that problem, and many people do, then it becomes a matter, all right, what is the tool I need? I've already got a toolbox full of other stuff. What tool do I need to fix that problem? And then again, many times I've heard it, you've heard it. I just can't spend that much money. Okay, I understand. I'm not trying to take food off your table, but if this is the solution that you say you understand will work, and you're not willing to take advantage of it at this time, what's your backup plan?
Right. Well, I think we've fallen into that trap. I, I was talking to somebody the other day. Well, cash flow. Don't have a
Mhm.
lot of cash flow right now, and we're coming in a time of year where things are going to slow down. So I'm not certain I'm going to have the cash flow to
Mhm.
spend this money on this to help me get this accomplished.
Right.
Okay, so you don't have the cash flow, you don't have the money to get a particular thing, service,
Uh-huh.
which is going to help you move your business from here to here. Well, then what are you going to do to get your business from here to here,
Right.
from point A to point B? What if this isn't the solution? What is? If
Right.
not spending money is the you don't have the money, so not spending money. So then what's your solution? Then you
Right.
better have the time to invest, to learn how to do it yourself, figure it out for yourself. Otherwise, how are you going to move your business from point A to point B?
Right.
Because there you got. I mean, we agree. You got to move your business from point A to point B. Yes. Yes. Okay. What are you going to do to get it there?
Right.
You
And
got,
that
so, and therein lies that whole dilemma.
right.
So it becomes if you're not going to invest the time, or I mean the money, because either you don't have it, you don't want to spend it, whatever the case may be, uh, then you better have time to invest to get it, do it yourself,
Right.
learn how to do it yourself, become proficient at doing it yourself, and
Right.
how long is that going to take? And
Exactly.
when you then look back at that and go, okay, well, this was going to cost me $100, $1,000, whatever, it doesn't matter. If this was going to cost me $1,000 to pay somebody else to do it, and now I don't have to worry about it, and now I've got time to do something else, I'm not going to spend that $1,000. Okay, great, I saved $1,000, But now I've just got to spend time. How much of your time is it going to take you to accomplish what that spending money would have done?
Right.
And if the answer is, let's say 10 hours, okay, 10 hours, that's $100 an hour. Okay. So if your time's worth $100 an hour, you spent 10 time, you're even.
But
You're
are
even.
you? But are you
Not
really?
only that, not only that, but now that was 10 hours you didn't get to spend on something
Working.
else.
Right. Bringing in revenue.
So you got to throw that into the equation. Now, how
Right.
much did you spending the time cost you?
Right. And let's be realistic about it. When you're talking about certain things within business that that maybe you've decided you're going to learn and implement it on your own. Now, there's plenty of resources. You can go, you can Google whatever your problem is. Let's just say, let's say you don't have enough people to talk to. So you're talking about lead generation. So you go to Google and you type in lead generation, and the thing just fills up with all kinds of different programs. Everybody has one. Now you know enough to know you don't know how to do it yourself. You know you need it, but you don't know how to go about getting it. So now you've decided I'm going to learn how to do it. So now how are you going to go about, because you don't have any kind of experience in it, deciding which is the best program, because you're looking for a free one. Remember, don't forget, you're not spending money. So now I want to go and learn about lead generation for free. How much time are you going to waste, for lack of a better word, uh, watching and learning stuff that still ends up, even after you've taken this free course, you still got to buy tools. You still got to have a website. You still got to have a this. You still got to have a that. But now you've spent all that time learning it. Maybe you've learned it very well. I'm sure you have. But how much time did you take away from the original problem that started you on this path? The original problem was generating revenue, cash flow, right?
Yep.
So now I don't have enough cash flow as it is. I'm going to take time away from where I get my cash flow from to go try to learn something for free on the internet and implement it on the internet. I'm still going to end up having to buy stuff to make it all work. How have I helped myself?
Exactly. The dilemma of the entrepreneur, the dilemma of working for yourself and wearing
Right.
many hats and trying to figure it all out.
Right.
And the dilemma of working from home.
Mm-hmm.
Entrepreneurs, people that work from home find themselves in, yeah, hey, I don't have all those resources. Yes, the internet is a great resource, a great
It's a
help.
great reference. Yeah.
It's not the answer to everything, and at some point that the trade-off becomes where are you going to, and let's call it investing your time or spending your time instead of wasting your time. Let's be fair.
Right.
You're investing your time. Might not be a good investment of your time,
Right.
but you're investing your time. You know, uh, that's what you got to determine. Uh, Another interesting thing I learned along the way, and this is from somebody I listen to regularly, Darren Hardy. I know you're familiar with him, Tom,
Sure.
and we've talked about Darren Hardy in the past. And he's got a thing he does, Darren Daily. Look it up, Darren Daily. Every day he's got a 5-minute little podcast that he does on different subjects. And the subject a few weeks ago was, um, you know, focusing. If you want your business to grow, focusing on the thing you do best.
Right.
Focus on the thing that's going to make you bring in the most money.
Mm-hmm.
Focus on that. Focus on the thing you're an expert at.
Right.
Everything else, farm it out.
Exactly.
Outsource it.
Yeah.
Hire somebody. Because
Right. Because
if
it does.
you if you can spend an hour and an hour will generate $500,000, whatever, in revenue for you,
Mhm.
doesn't it make more sense to spend more hours doing that thing
Right. Right.
than it does taking care of all the little mundane other things that need to be done? Because if I can spend one more hour generating $500, I can afford to pay somebody $12 an hour
Right.
to do the bookkeeping, the record keeping, whatever. And I just throw a number out there. Maybe it's not $12 an hour. Maybe it's $20 an hour. Who knows? But if you can generate $500 in an hour of your time, doesn't it make sense to spend more hours doing that and then taking all those other tasks that don't generate that type of revenue for you and give them to somebody else to do?
Absolutely. And that's where we become keenly aware of what cash flow really is all about. You have money coming in from the efforts of your sales staff, or the product that you sell, or the service that you sell. That's where your money comes in from. Now, there is no business out there that I know of that that you're going to keep all of it. You've got some overhead of some kind, whether you work at home or you don't. You got things you're going to pay for.
Yep.
And in the event of, like you said, things that, maybe bookkeeping is not your thing, there's not a single one of us that I know that works from home as an entrepreneur that knows how to do sales, marketing, bookkeeping, uh, uh, the legal side of things, uh, do all the advertising, do the SEO for the website, do the website. I mean, you can't do it all.
Yep.
And if you try to learn it on the job, you'll hurt yourself. I'm living proof of that. I'll tell you that story another time. You
Yep.
you have to be able to learn about investing in the business, whether that investment is in hiring somebody to do something you don't do so well, whether that is, whether that's investing in a program to aid in your ability to make your revenue. How many times have we heard over the years, what's the one thing you never want to stop doing when business gets slow, but everybody does it?
Advertise.
Advertising.
Market.
Right. Right. Advertising and marketing. That is what's bringing people to your door,
Yeah.
and those people are coming to the door with your money in their pocket.
Yeah, I always smile when I hear that one. Now, when somebody offers you, or you're talking about advertising or marketing, yeah, things are a little slow right now. I don't got the money to advertise,
Hmm.
or I can't afford. You can't afford not to.
Right. Right.
You can't afford not to. And then saying, "Oh man, I'm so busy. I don't need any more business." Really? So you're going to stop advertising, or you're going to stop marketing? Because then what that creates is now then when there's a natural slowdown, you don't have enough coming in the pipeline to get, now your cash flow is going up. Now you got to advertise. By the time you get things ramped up again, you best problem you can have is too much work. Because you
Right.
know what? If you got too much work, and I don't want to hire anybody, that's fine. Don't hire an employee. You don't want to hire an employee. You know what? There's all kinds of great ways around that. Subcontract, um, outsource. There's all kinds of people doing all kinds of things. One of the businesses my wife and I have right now, Simple Solutions, virtual assistant services.
Yep.
She's busy, right? Doing tasks for people, doing that busy work for people so they can focus on what they do best.
Right. And
Okay.
that is a business that, since COVID has kept us all home, those virtual assistants are popping up like crazy, and
Right.
there's plenty of work for everybody.
Heck yeah. And so that was to my point. if or when, I should say, not if, when we get to the point where we've got that much work coming in that she can't handle it, she can sacrifice a few hours sleep. We're not worried about that.
She's not in the room with you.
We'll outsource to somebody. We'll subcontract somebody else. We'll
Right.
subcontract somebody else to do some of that stuff because we're talking about basic tasks, office work, admin work,
Right.
record keeping, phone calls. There's all kinds of different things that we do, but a lot of that can be done, and someone can be trained to do those things very simply.
Right.
But that can apply to any business. Hey, if you're a plumber and you got too much work, call me. I know a couple plumbers. I know a plumber you can outsource some of your work to, refer
Right.
some work to if you need to.
Right.
Okay. Or anything else. There's plenty of people out there that can help you out. It's what I tell people all the time, don't shy away from your competition because you never know when you're going to need them to help you out.
Right.
If you're a plumber, what happens if your truck breaks down today or your employee calls in sick or any other thing and you need to get something done? Wouldn't it be nice to have a buddy who's also in the plumbing business that you call, hey, can you help me out today? I got a
Right.
job I can't get done. Can you cover it for me? Not you might have given up a little revenue, but you know what? You kept the customer happy. And
Right.
bottom line, that's what you're after. That's what you're trying to do.
Exactly.
So, again, I think we kind of got off on a different kind of tangent there on what we really wanted to be talking about. But bottom line is, you got to invest in marketing. You got to invest in those different things. So, so let's flip this around a little bit, though, Tom, because I know another thing we wanted to talk about was
Yep.
investing in yourself,
Right.
investing in the business. So there are situations where there is a time when you do need to invest in yourself, learn a new skill, figure something out for yourself. So there are times where that's appropriate. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about that, investing in ourselves
Sure.
or in our business.
Right.
So
Well,
what
yeah,
are
go ahead.
some things you've done this year?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the whole question, Frank.
What are some things you've done this year to invest in yourself?
I personally have taken on several different courses this year to learn new things for my business. Most recently, just got started on an 8-week course that'll meet a couple of times a week for product creation. Now, if we go along the argument that we just made earlier, well, Tom, why would you do that? You're taking time away from what you really do. You could make that argument. Here's my argument. No, I've given myself more tools to generate a revenue from. So here's what I mean. I already do a couple of things well. Those do generate revenue. If I can add 2 or 3 things along that same line, now I can have 4 or 5 places I'm generating revenue from. So is it worth me learning that? Is it worth me investing the money to take the class, the time to take the class, and the learning that it's going to take? That I'm not going to get it all on the first crack. I guarantee it. Some things I'm going to have to see 3 or 4 times before I get it. But the expectation, and that's everything we do in business is about expectation. The expectation is once I have put these new skills into my toolbox with the other skills, now I've increased my ways of getting revenue. And let's say that I'm having a slow month on this side. I switch over here. I got these 4 or 5 other things that I'm going to pick right up to pick up the slack for that one thing that's slow for whatever reason. Now I know you're investing in stuff all the time too.
Yeah, but see, therein lies the difference. The example we started this off with was something that was a support
Right.
Function of running my business. an automated calendar and appointment setting tool.
Right.
Spending several hours figuring out the one that wasn't working the way I wanted it to work
Right.
didn't make any sense when there's another one available that I can put into place that will solve my problem and save me the few hours of figuring out for
Right.
this one. All right. There's the difference.
Right.
Investing
Yep.
time to learn a skill,
Mm-hmm.
figuring out how to straighten out my automated calendar is not learning a skill.
Right.
Okay. Whereas you're talking about learning a skill that is going to be something that will continue to grow revenue for the foreseeable future. It's an entirely different thing.
Right.
So that's kind of
Yeah,
what we're
it's
talking. Now it's like finding things that you do want to invest your time in that are going to help you develop personally, help you develop professionally,
right.
to make you better at either what you already do to generate revenue,
Mm-hmm.
or bringing in another skill that will also generate revenue.
Right.
So
Right.
yes,
And, yeah, and I'm glad you brought that. I'm glad you brought that line up about the calendar link. The calendar link in and of itself is not the problem. The issue is I got to have a calendar link so I can have people that can go right to my calendar and book their appointment.
right.
It had nothing to do with that. Here's what it had everything to do with. I don't have 6 hours to sharpen my pencil. Oh, look, a pencil sharpener. I'm going to buy that pencil sharpener, and now I've taken care of my problem.
There you go. So yeah, so some things I've, again, so talking about investing some time or whatever
Right.
in personal development, I've invested time and money in a coach, someone that helps me keep me going on task. We
Right.
invest time, you and I, with each other weekly,
Right.
not only to do this podcast, which will in turn create revenue.
Correct.
Okay. But we also spend time helping each other improve our skills to create a, create better, better skills or better, personal development.
Right.
Read a book, just bought a book, $10. If you've, back to Darren, if you've never read the book, The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy, it's the 10th anniversary of him publishing that book, and giving it away for $10.
Right.
Okay. It's a gold mine.
Sure.
And it's not like it's all earth-shattering revelations, things I never knew,
right,
or things I've never heard before, but it's put in a way that makes sense, and I'm enjoying reading it. But at the end of the day, what's it gonna do? It's gonna sharpen those skills and make me better at what I do and make me more efficient.
Right.
Okay. So investing time, reading good books or doing other things that are along those personal development lines. We should always be trying to improve ourselves. So investing time and a little bit of money into personal development is a key part of working for yourself or working from home.
Right. And it kind of takes us back to the original expectation. So here's what I mean by that. I know how to do this one thing very well, better than most. That's kind of where my claim to fame is gone. But in order for me to run this business, I have to at least get proficient at this piece over here and this piece over here. The rest of this stuff I can farm out. I can have a virtual assistant do it. I can hire somebody to do it. But I really need to have these 2 or 3 things solid.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about where all revenue comes from. All of it comes from selling. all of it. So perhaps if I'm going to invest in myself, maybe I'm going to invest in sales programs. Now I've been in sales better than 40 years. You know what I can tell you? I don't know it all. Things have changed. Am I open to that change? I better be, because you can't keep trying to do the same thing with the old ways, because it doesn't work. So is that a solid investment for a business owner to get some sales training? I would say so.
I agree. And or
Uh-huh.
you hire somebody to sell for you.
Right.
If it's something you just detest, you
Right.
don't want to do, you don't like it, whatever the case may be, and you don't want to sell, then you better hire somebody to sell for you. And that person, but you know what? If that person's good, you're gonna have a price
Not
tag.
coming cheap. They're not coming cheap.
A pretty big. It's gonna have a pretty hefty price tag on it. Now, if what you have to offer has a good price, has a nice price tag on it, you can afford to do that.
Mhm.
Okay. But you just got to know that if selling's not your gig, if selling's not what you want to do, then you better find somebody that can sell for you.
Right. And it goes back.
Pay for that.
Yeah. And then it goes back to, again, expectations. If I'm sitting in my business and I'm selling, but I don't like selling. I'm not very good at it. At some point, a decision is going to be made by you or by the economy. Look, I'm not good at it. I either have to get better at it, which means I'm going to have to take some training of some kind or read some books of some kind, or I'm going to have to hire somebody who already has those skills. And yeah, those skills are going to come with a price. Now, the expectation now goes to, all right, if I either become a better salesperson or hire a salesperson, how much will it increase my revenues? What are my expectations? Now you know what the expectations are. Now you know how much you can or should invest. It's just logical math.
Exactly.
So
I agree wholeheartedly.
yeah. So from the standpoint of investing in your business, not everything we're talking about here is investing money. And when you have a business and you're trying to grow that business, you're going to invest in things no matter what. You have to, just because of the size you're getting to. You're going to have to invest in additional uh, employees, perhaps. You may have to buy another machine because the one machine you have can't keep up with what the new orders you have coming in. So, business in and of itself requires an investment to open. It requires an investment to put tools in place. It requires an investment to grow. I mean, so these are all things we know going in. Now, not everything that we invest is money. Those are some of the things we are just hinting at. Well, what kind of things could I invest in without money? Well, you can take some training. Again, there's some good training on the internet for sales or marketing or anything you like, and a good bit of it's free. But I want you to understand something. In many cases, you get what you pay for. Now, there are some very good people out there who have at least introductory free courses, and that's a great place to start sometime. Make sure that the person that you're learning from, the things are clicking, because I promise you at some point that program is going to say, if you want more, this is what it costs. And then that's when you're going to have to make that decision.
Right. Another good investment of time at
Mm-hmm.
very little cost is webinars.
Yep.
Um, your chamber, the local chamber of commerce puts on webinars on different topics that can help you build skills. The most community colleges have a business resource
Right.
center. I know around McHenry County, Lake County areas in Illinois, there's the Illinois Small Business Development Center,
Yep.
and both of those operate out of, at least in the neighborhood that I'm familiar with, they operate out of McHenry County College and the College of Lake County. All right, free resources supported by tax dollars, okay, because those are community colleges, so those are supported by tax dollars, but they understand the importance of
Right.
local small businesses. So while you're not paying for it directly to go get help from them, you're paying for it indirectly by paying taxes. Okay, so it's your tax dollars
Right.
working for you. You might as well go take advantage of it. Go check out the Small Business Development Center. And the one in McHenry is on Shamrock Lane. It's at the Shaw Center, and it's part of McHenry County College. And the one in Lake County is located on the College of Lake County campus in Grays Lake. So go check them out. Great place to get some help, get some resources that you need at no cost.
Right.
Another good source of help, assistance is Fox Valley SCORE. And I can't tell you what SCORE stands for. It's an acronym, but it's basically retired
Executives.
small business owners, CEOs, executive of large companies, entrepreneurs, CPAs, attorneys, and these are people that now are part of this community, this network called SCORE, and their whole mission is to help small businesses succeed. So they offer their time and services at no cost to you, free. Go sit down, pick their brain, get some help, get help writing a business plan, get help writing a marketing plan, fill out documents to request for a grant, different things, government loans. The SBAC is another great source of assistance for small business owners, and all of those are at no cost. All you got to do is ask for help.
Right.
Another thing I think where we as small business owners sometimes fall short, asking for help, acknowledging I can't figure this out myself. I need some help.
Right.
Okay. And getting the help you need to do something. So again, there's resources out there, but yeah, then it's balancing that investing time or investing money or a combination of two and determining where's the return on investment and am I spending my time wisely? Am I investing my time wisely? Am I investing my money wisely?
Right.
No different than investing in your retirement account. Are you investing wisely so you can retire at some point in time? If you're not doing that, that's a subject for another day.
Right.
You know,
But yeah, even those things that you just mentioned, they are in fact free resources. But here's what you have to keep in mind: you're still going to invest something, and in this instance, it's going to be investing your time.
Yep.
So I've always taken the approach, and I'm no smarter than the next person. I'll tell you that for sure. I've always taken a course that I take since I've been out of school far more seriously than I did when I was in school. And the reason I do that is I'm taking particular courses for those things to help my business. And I'm most likely paying for those. I'm going to get my money's worth because I've already made a decision about my expectations. If this course costs me $700 and with what I'm going to learn in it, I can make several $1,000s implementing it. Well, that's good investment. I'll take that any day of the week. But it's only good. Just spending the money and showing up isn't enough. You got to get in there. You got to learn how to do what it is that you're being taught. And many times, those first few attempts are going to be ugly. I living proof of that also.
Yep.
But again,
it requires action.
Exactly.
Requires action It requires activity to keep it moving along. Was a business conversation this morning with a group I'm involved in, and we were discussing the lack of results this this particular week for something we were working on as a group.
Uh-huh.
And what I challenged the group with was, all right, well, the results aren't there. That's okay. There's no shame in saying the results aren't there. There's
Right.
really not. There's no shame in that. Was the activity there? Did each of us engage in the activity we said we would, that we expected to reproduce a particular result?
Right.
Okay, so the result wasn't there. Okay. Was it because of flat out we're doing something wrong or whatever? Or was it lack of activity? And at the end of the day, at the end of our conversation, the answer was lack of activity.
Right.
So I challenged the group. I said, okay, this time next week, Wednesday morning, this time next week, when we meet again, I'm confident there's going to be results.
Right.
Okay, but either way, no matter what the level of result is, either way, it's going to be because there was activity. And if the results aren't enough, then either we're doing something wrong or there wasn't enough activity. And I'm
Sure.
convinced at this point it's the level of activity that's taking place is
Right.
the reason why there's lack of result. And if we can just get that activity level up to where it needs to be, the results will come. And even if they don't come next week, do the deed, do the activity, and
Right.
the results will eventually come. So
Right.
yes, it's all about learning that new skill we talked about, learning that new skill. Then it's a matter of taking action and applying what you learn, applying that skill and perfecting it until the results come.
Right.
Because they will. If you do the deed, if you engage in the activity, if you engage, put those skills to work, you'll see the results. And then, hey, a month from now or whatever your time frame is, you go back and evaluate. Okay, did I get what I expected to get out of that activity?
Right.
And if it's not, then you got to reevaluate what you did and why you did it,
Yeah.
and determine whether you want to keep doing it or not. Because again, definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Well,
Right.
The compound effect, back to the book I'm reading right now, compound effect, maybe doing that same activity over a period of time, the result will be there.
Right.
Okay. But you got to put time frames on those things of when those results should appear.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And then if they don't, then it's time to examine the
It's time to
procedure.
reevaluate and maybe change what you're doing,
Right.
go in a different direction. But
Right.
until then, it's all about the activity, action. Got to take action. Got to do stuff to make
Right.
things happen.
So you would ask me earlier. We're closing in on just about finished for the night. What is it? What is it that you have learned or invested in for your business this year, Frank?
Great question. Read a few books, so I've invested in some books, which I
Right.
do. But other than that, as far as learning new skills, just improve my sales skills, I guess would be the biggest thing I've done. And I've taken some courses, taken some classes, read some books, listened to people, worked with my coach to improve my skills and improve my attitude
Right.
and that, and set goals to to get to certain places. So from an investment standpoint, it's been more of an investment of time than it has been money, and
Right.
that's okay. But it's been a little bit of both, a balance of both. But as far as that goes, it's been just doing that and then just continuing to do what I've always done, and that's be persistent, be consistent, and just keep on very steadily moving along and fill in the funnel.
Right. Right.
Fill in the funnel with prospects.
Right. And that's something you had to learn how to do. That wasn't something you knew the day you started.
Oh, one thing I've learned how to use Zoom.
There you go. Yeah.
Learn how, learn how to use Be Live.
Right.
Learn how to do a lot more things virtually. Okay, and that's actually turned out to be a blessing.
Yeah. It's a huge time saver keeping
Uh,
our,
Not spending a lot of time driving around, traveling
right.
from appointment to appointment. Just flip a button, flip the switch, and shift from one meeting to the next meeting, and keep on rolling along.
Right.
So yeah, learn how to use Zoom and use it effectively,
Right.
and change that sales process a little bit. But yes, and invested in some new marketing material.
Right.
Okay, uh, email marketing and otherwise. Just keep things going, keep things out there, and keep just consistently keeping the funnel full.
Right. Right. So, when we talk about investing in your company, I mean, let's define what those investments are. If it's something that solves a problem, marketing, SEO, lead generation, whatever that is, you're investing in a perceived result. How do you put a time, or how do you put a money limit on that? I don't know. You're the one who can answer that. Investing in yourself, making yourself better at what you do, whether that is from a sales standpoint, whether that is from a time management standpoint, whether that's from a leadership standpoint. You're striving to be a better version of yourself, because if yourself is a better person, your business is a better business.
Absolutely.
Investing on learning. Again, there's not one of us that runs a small business that knows how to do everything. We all start out that way, and it takes us very little time to realize we don't. So then it becomes a matter of investing in either learning how to do it, or bringing in somebody to do it, or a virtual assistant or a service such as that to do it for me. So there's a good deal of investing that goes on in your business. Don't be afraid of the word. Uh, you know, don't be afraid to invest in your business. Don't look at it as paying. Look at it as a down payment on what you're getting back in.
Exactly. That's why we call it an investment.
Exactly.
Investments have a return. So then it's the rate of return. What's the rate of return on that investment?
Right.
Talk about different. What's the reasonable rate of return on investments for retirement?
Mhm.
Oh, if you're getting 10%, whoa, you're doing pretty good.
Right.
There's risk with that, kind of thing. But what's a good investment of money and or time on learning a new skill? I would rule of thumb the way I look at that, I call it 10x. If I'm going to spend $700, let's just use that's a 700. I'm going to spend $700 on some type of training or on some type of resource that's going to improve my skills and make me better at what I do. Okay. I would expect to see a $7,000, that's 10x, $7,000 in new revenue because of that money spent.
Right.
Fair enough.
Absolutely.
Okay. But that's a nice rule of thumb. We're a good place to at least look at it, know what you're getting yourself into. Don't just plunk down money because hey, it sounds good.
Right.
What's my expectation? What can I, expect to get out of this? Will I see a 10x return?
Yeah, and you need to ask that question, and then you need to answer the follow-up question. How much time am I willing to invest to make it work,
Yep,
to learn what I have to learn?
exactly. But again, a lot of good stuff out there that you can get for a few $100s. And if whatever it is you're selling doesn't generate a few $100s, you're okay. I don't know. Then you got to have that trade off. Where am I going to sell 10 more widgets
Right.
if I invest in this over here? Will
Right.
that help me sell 10 more widgets? If the answer is yes, I call that a good investment of time.
Absolutely.
and money.
Absolutely.
But then again, action, effort is what's going to produce the results.
Right. All right. I don't see any questions popping up here. So a quick piece of
I'm
housekeeping.
worth a lot, Rachel. Rachel Sellers is asking me, what are you worth?
I don't know if she's asking you or me. She already
Yeah.
knows my value.
You're very good.
So as was mentioned, I don't know how long ago we switched over from our regular time of Thursdays to Wednesdays was for our golf season, which
Back in May,
was it
June,
back in May? Yeah, it's been a bit.
started.
Yep.
The
So
golf
anyway,
was over. Yeah,
yep.
we had just walked off the golf course a few short weeks ago. We had been getting off the golf course about 30 minutes ago, and it was still daylight. Now it's dark
Right.
out there already. I'm
Right.
sad.
Right. So we are going to go back to our regular time and day, which will be Thursdays at 7 instead of Wednesdays. I'll post it a couple of times this coming week. And it is funny. Frank's like, well, is that better for your schedule? It actually is, because I have an 8 o'clock mastermind meeting that every now and again I've been late to coming from here, but that's okay. So that is what the schedule will be going forward. We'll be back to our regular time, 7 o'clock on Thursdays for our 2 cents. And
Rachel wants to know how we did in golf, Tom.
you see that I ignored that question, don't you?
Yeah.
We played a lot of golf. We had a lot of laughs. We did fine.
You want the financial analysis of that? My cost per shot average was very good.
Yes, it was. Yours and mine both.
$15 for 9 holes of golf.
Uh-huh.
If you divide how many shots I took and factor that into the $15, my cost per shot average was very good.
Right. And I found parts of the course nobody has seen in years, and I didn't have to pay for a guide.
Yeah.
All righty. Well, we want to thank you all for spending your time with us and listening to us talk about how things are out there. And
so working from home.
Yep. So we will be back next week on Thursday, not Wednesday, Thursday at 7 o'clock. So until then, I'm Tom Sellers, and this is
Frank Hostica,
and we are our 2 cents. With inflation, we may even throw another penny in there.
Yeah. All righty. Have a good night.
Thanks for joining us, folks. We'll see you next week. Thank you.
All right. Take care.